Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It is Monday, January 11th. God, I don't know dates anymore.
It's not important anymore.
No, I'm here with Tom DeTrinis, writer and star. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Writer and star of Making Friends, being presented by IAMA Theater Company online through January 18th. It is a delightful watch film before film. So it's not like we're watching a Zoom window. We're seeing a play that actually feels like a play, which was really refreshing.
Yes. And that was really Drew, who directed the show, Drew Droege. That was really, he wanted that very, very clearly. And he and I both wanted that from the start. We were both like, this is going to feel and look like we are in the theater. We want it to be, because the point of the IAMA season, the virtual season, was to put up these solo theater pieces. So from the very beginning, we were like, all right, well, this will be a filmed play. This is going to be a filmed play.
Which feels nice.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you got that. I'm really glad that that resonated with you, because that is exactly what we wanted.
Tell me about, well, for starters, for the people watching this right now, tell us about the piece. What is Making Friends?
Making Friends is a story about my life. Almost every story in there is true, with very slight embellishments. And it's kind of like my journey to discover how I am an angry person, and kind of like coming to terms with it. And then also kind of working through my own family kind of stories in life and how that affected me. It's kind of, as Drew kind of says, it's kind of a coming out story about being, rageful. So that's kind of what the show's about.
When, how did it come to the IAMA Theater?
I'm an ensemble member of the IAMA Theater Company. I had worked with them starting about, I think about 3 years ago. I started producing some plays with them, and then I produced an entire season with them. And then I became a company member. And then right before COVID hit and destroyed the world, we were doing one of their very first musicals called Found the Musical, which was
one of my favorites. I love that show.
It was great. It was so much fun. And Moritz von Stupennagel was the director, and he's a dream. And we were rehearsing last January, this very time we started rehearsals, and we opened in February, and then we had to shut down like 3 weeks before we were supposed to officially end the show. So I was in that as well. And then, Stephanie Black, who's one of the co-artistic directors of IAMA, we were going out for like just a socially distanced walk over the summer here. And she was like, oh, we're going to do a virtual season this year, and we're looking for 1-person shows, and we need one more slot. We need one more. And I was like, well, I kind of started to write something. And she's like, I immediately want it. Give it to me. I don't care if it's 2 pages long. I don't care if it's no pages long. Give it to me. And so I sent her what I had. And this was about like August. And then she was like, we're doing it. And I was like, okay. And then a few weeks later, she's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing this in December, so you have to finish this. I'm like, no. So I immediately went to type, and then I brought Drew on also as well. And then we were off to the races. And basically all of October, I kind of finessed it. We kind of put it on its feet in November, and then we filmed it on like December 1st or so.
Tell me about the filming process, because I imagine there was no audience. I imagine you did it in like COVID-friendly way.
Yes, there was a COVID compliance officer there, which was SAG certified. And we had to all keep our distance. I was the only one who was allowed to remove my mask because I was performing. In the theater when I was doing it, there were the 2 camera people, Drew, and the stage manager, because there still was a stage manager who was calling the show like a real theater piece. And so I filmed the show. I performed it once completely. Then we did some push-ins, some like special shots. Then we changed the camera direction. Then I did it a whole nother time completely. And then we did close-ups and other little bits as well. And then I did the dance number on top of that. But every time I did it, I did the dance too. So throughout the day, I did the dance probably like almost 8 to 10 times. We did the show twice completely, and then a bunch of kind of like pickups.
And it's probably a hard thing for you to perform in its entirety even once, knowing the virtuosity of your performance.
Yeah, it was very exhausting, but I also like after the first time I was very scared and I went to Drew after we were filming and I was like, cancel it, end it. I hate this because it was so hard to do the show without an audience. And up until that point, there was a few people in the rehearsal room who were laughing and giving me back like responses. And when I went to film it the first time, it was devastating because you were like, why is no one laughing? And your performer brain went crazy. It like literally had a meltdown.
And suddenly this thing becomes a drama because there's no response.
Yes, exactly. There's no laughter at all. And so we after that first time, and I had a meltdown to Drew, and I had my own personal meltdown, and one of the producers, Melissa Stevens, came up to me and kind of like stroked my back and was like, it's fine, you're gonna be okay. And then immediately after that, I was like, guys, we're going again. They're like, you sure you don't want a lunch break? I'm like, no lunch break. And I did the show immediately again because I was just so fired up to go. But you know, at the end of the day, when we were finished, we filmed it from 10 to 8. It was actually a very tiny window because we had to work with COVID compliance hours. I actually came home and I was still like made dinner and like sat down. I had to like come on. I mean, my adrenaline through the roof.
I mean, I've seen Drew's shows, and I don't know how he does stuff like that. He
is like high energy. And the latest one that we worked on together, Happy Birthday, Doug, the very first monologue is like cocaine crazy, like similar to kind of what in my show, I come out and I have that, that crazy, like blown out version of myself. He and I like to exhaust ourselves.
How did it feel watching it? Because I imagine as like a theater artist primarily, you don't get to see like yourself perform on video on a regular basis. So what is this experience like?
I mean, not in this way either. And there's something about film's theater and you really just see every imperfection. Sometimes in like film and TV, there's like lighting and there's music and there's like filters and everything to kind of like make you feel better about yourself. But there's nothing to make you feel better about yourself. And the first time I saw it, I also couldn't eat for the entire evening because I was like an absolute mess. And people had to talk me off of the ledge again in that moment because it was so scary. It was so weird. Also, like even as an actor, when I am an actor, I'm not on screen for an hour and 7 minutes, and it's just me. I mean, there's no escaping me in this, and so it was very difficult to kind of just swallow that pill, but also realize like that's not real. A lot of those kind of like those terrible things I was thinking about myself were really just like insecurities. It really wasn't like, oh, this is bad. It was more just like, you're not good enough and it's not interesting enough. Like the normal things that we would all be feeling as performers.
Do you want to do this live one day, or is this a very specific thing that it exists here? Or
if I could do it live tomorrow, if I could do it live this evening, I would. I mean, I'm dying to see how the audience responds in person.
Yeah.
I'm dying to also learn from the audience to kind of like make the show better. It
would be nice to hear people laughing for you, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And the theater is about community, and the audience is community.
Right.
And they're part of that process, which is why so many shows do previews for so long before it like officially opens, so that you can get the information from the audience about what's needed and what's not needed and what makes the show better, makes the show deeper. And I definitely want that experience. I need that experience as a theater performer.
What's the reach for this been? Like, where have you heard people have been watching that? Like, are there people watching from like out of the United States?
Yes. Yeah. There have been people who have bought a ticket outside of the US. And even I've been doing these Instagram live, like little interviews with several people who I know who like, we just talk about whatever on the IAMA theater account. And a bunch of people in the chat are just like, I'm in Sweden and I'm having trouble buying it. And I'm, tell them to email our theater company so that they can kind of figure it out. But I do know tickets have been purchased outside the US, which is wonderful.
I was going to say, that's got to be so cool for you.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me so happy because I think that one of the positives of the pandemic is that we are experiencing theater on a grander level now. Like, we can watch the National Theater in the UK. They're putting up, all of their theater pieces online. We can watch them whenever we want to watch them.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a wonderful benefit to this, like the silver lining of this is that I'm getting to see things I normally wouldn't.
I
And a
know.
lot of my family members in turn are getting to experience seeing me perform when they usually wouldn't be able to. So that's been really nice.
Tom, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, David, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
The show is a delight. I related to a variety of things in it, mostly like we were discussing, being from Long Island. But it is a universal. It is not just a New York sensibility. It is a universal.
True, yeah, and I think it's not even just an LGBT sensibility either. I think that people can all relate to feeling like a dual human being in their life at times, which is what I kind of explore in the show. So I do think anyone would be able to watch and relate to it.
And you have until January 18th to do it.
That's right, 7 days.
Yeah. Tell us where we can find it, or like the easiest place for us to find it.
Easiest place to find it is IAMAtheater.com, which is IAMATHEATRE.com. You could also just Google Making Friends Tom DeTrinis, or you could get Making Friends IAMA Theater, and Google is a dream, and it will just, those things will just pop up. You can go to like my Instagram page, which is @DeTrinis, and you can find the link there. You can go to the IAMA Theater Instagram. You can go to my website, detrinis.com. There's so many places that you should be able to find it.
Unfortunately, all of these social media accounts still exist. Go figure.
Yeah, yeah, they do still exist. Exactly.
Be well, Tom. Thank you for your chat.
Oh my gosh, anytime.
And thanks everybody for watching. See ya.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.